Oh my god, it's a fucking Suicune. Finally, you show up. I've been waiting for you. I've been searching for hours and hours trying to find you. And now this is my chance to catch this beautiful creature. Now, Suicune, are you ready to be captured? Fuck this. What's going on, guys? This is Dobbs here, bringing you another Pokemon video. And in this video, I'm going to go over the top 10 most hardest Pokemon to find ever. Now, before we start, let's set a few rules for this top 10. Alright, so the rules are: glitches within the game do not count, hacked Pokemon do not count, event Pokemon do count, and finally, shiny Pokemon are fair game to a certain extent, and I'll explain more on that later. And here's a little disclaimer, guys. I'll be choosing the Pokemon from the video game, not the Pokemon itself. So for example, getting a Mewtwo in Pokemon Red is much easier than getting a Mewtwo in Pokemon Emerald. So Mewtwo in Pokemon Emerald is more rare than the Mewtwo in Pokemon Red. So now that we have rules for the playing field, let's get started with the video. This Pokemon is notorious for being elusive. With only having 5 or 6 tiles in the entire game that it appears on, it is arguably the rarest non-legendary Pokemon out there. Can you guess who it is? A Generation 3 Feebas. A f***ing Feebas. Now, in most top 10s, you'll probably see this Pokemon as number 1. Yeah, he is probably the rarest non-legendary Pokemon out there in a Pokemon game. But he is not the rarest Pokemon out there. And I'll get more in detail on that later. But notice how I said Generation 3? I said that on purpose because he is way more easier to find in future games. In Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, Feebas can only appear on 5 or 6 tiles in the whole game. And to put on top of that, these tiles are completely random. Now, let's put this in perspective. This is Route 119. All the water you see on the map right now roughly correlates to about 279 tiles. Now, Feebas can only spawn on 5 or 6 of those tiles. So the encounter rate for Feebas in this area is 16.74%, which doesn't sound that bad, but you have to keep in mind, you can only catch Feebas with a fishing rod, so trying to find those 5 random squares out of this whole body of water would be a nightmare. But listen, Feebas isn't the rarest Pokemon, and that is why he's number 10 on my list. A Generation 3 Jirachi. It was impossible to catch Jirachi in the Generation 3 games. The only way was to get it through these 2 events. 1, the Channel Jirachi, and 2, the Wishmaker Jirachi. Of course, you could use a cheating device and get Jirachi that way, but in this top 10, that doesn't count at all. Now, if it weren't for the Wishmaker Jirachi event, Jirachi would be way higher on this list, and I'll explain why. The Wishmaker Jirachi came from the bonus disc that came with Pokemon Colosseum. And the only way to get the bonus disc from Pokemon Colosseum was pre-ordering Pokemon Colosseum. Now, what makes Jirachi so low on this list is the fact that you can reuse this disc over and over and over and get as many Jirachis as you want. So theoretically, you can get thousands of Jirachis if you wanted to, which knocks Jirachi down quite a bit. A spiky-eared Pichu. Yeah, never heard of it, right? I didn't either until I started researching for this video. In order to get spiky-eared Pichu, you first have to get the Pikachu-colored Pichu. This Pikachu-colored Pichu was distributed only 4 times. 1 time in 2009 and 3 times in 2010. Now, the Pikachu-colored Pichu had a little uniqueness to it. Not because it was the same color as Pikachu, but it could spawn another Pichu that was exclusive to the game. And the way to do this is, if you approach the Ilix-Forix Shrine with the Pikachu-colored Pichu, the spiky-eared Pichu will appear. And the spiky-eared Pichu is game-locked to Pokemon Soul Silver and Heart Gold, which means you can't trade them. Like a lot of extremely rare Pokemon, they're only obtainable through events. And many say Darkrai from Pokemon Diamond and Pearl is the rarest event Pokemon. And that's because at the time, he only had 1 event. And think about it. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl came out on September 28th, 2006. The Darkrai event was July 14th, 2007. So that means Darkrai wasn't even available until nearly a year later. And the next event after this one was on October 30th, 2008. Almost another year later. The first one was only available for about 3 months, and the second one was only available for about a month. Of course, there was a glitch involved where you could get Darkrai, which was called the Void Glitch, also known as tweaking, and it's a very interesting glitch. But the glitch is way too complex to explain in this video, but it takes at least 3 hours to do, because the amount of walking you have to do is freaking unreal. It includes riding your bike 63,000 tiles to a direction, 2 times, which takes about an hour each, and then doing all the specific walking you have to do, like northwest, east, it's like very specific, and it's insane. Like, how the fuck does someone figure this out? Like, that is ridiculous. A Game Freak Psyduck. Yeah, you didn't hear that wrong. This Psyduck had a Japanese name and a custom Pokédex entry that was in Japanese. And the special Psyduck was only obtainable from a GTS event by Game Freak that only lasted for about 7 days. And all you had to do is catch a Ponyta and send it to one of the Game Freak members on the GTS. And boom, a Japanese Psyduck Game Freak edition. And the reason I made this Japanese Psyduck rarer than the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Darkrai was for the fact that this Psyduck was only available for a week, and there was little notice about this event. Now let me tell you, Darkrai isn't the rarest event Pokemon. A Generation 2 Celebi is, by a large margin. And this is why. There was only 2 ways to get Celebi in Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, and they are both very obscure. The first way is to win the contest by Nintendo Power Magazine and send your game in so they can put a Celebi inside of it. And obviously, not a lot of people are going to be able to do that. The second way was through the Pokemon Mobile System GB. And if you know what that was, you deserve a reward, because literally no one that I know of knew about that. And heck, Pokemon Crystal was my favorite Pokemon game all time. I literally know everything about that game. And never once I heard anything about that mobile station thing. So getting to the good stuff, in order to get Celebi from this mobile station system, you have to buy a special adapter for your Game Boy that can hook up to a Japanese exclusive phone. And then on your Game Boy, you have to go to this website and then pay for the Celebi, and that's how you got it. Now you have to remember, this is 1999 to 2000. No one really had a cell phone during that time, and this was only exclusive in Japan. So this Celebi is literally one of the rarest Pokemon out there, but not the rarest. Now you're probably asking yourself, what's rarer than that? That has to be top of the line. Well, I'll tell you, this is when the shiny exception comes in. And no, I'm not talking about just any regular shiny Pokemon out there. I'm talking about certain shiny Pokemon. I'm talking about a shiny Mew. That's legit. What makes this shiny Mew so rare is that in Pokemon Emerald, there was an event in 2005 in Japan exclusively. For only a month, you had to go to a festival. No, this wasn't online. This was a local event that you had to go to. Obtain your old C map from the festival, come back home, go where Mew is, save your game, and soft reset over and over and over again until you find a shiny Mew. And that's why a shiny Mew from Pokemon Emerald is probably one of the rarest Pokemon out there. Because how many people actually did that? Not a lot, probably. But guess what? It's not the rarest. Guys, hang in there, because there's 3 more Pokemon that's rarer than that. And yeah, I'm serious. And the third rarest Pokemon is a Wish Chansey. And that's basically a Chansey that knows Wish. That's simple. Now let me tell you, any Chansey you see with Wish is probably hacked, because there's probably only less than 50 Chanseys out there who know Wish and are legit. And the reason why they're extremely rare is because they're only obtainable for 2 weeks at this New York Pokemon Center. Only at that New York Pokemon Center, nowhere else. And all you have to do is go in there with your Pokemon Fire Red or Leaf Green, obtain the egg, and that's it. That's all you have to do. But so few people knew about this, and it was so obscure that hardly anyone did it. And that's why Wish Chansey is ranked number 3. Alright, final 2. So there's one more Pokemon that gets a shiny exception, and that is Manaphy. I'm just going to put this plain and simple. Basically, after beating Pokemon Ranger, you get a Manaphy egg. And after you get that Manaphy egg, you have to get another DS, put your black or white game into it, and then send the Manaphy egg to your black or white game. And then you have to hatch the egg, and then hope it's a shiny. Now you can only imagine how long that would take, because you only get 1 Manaphy egg in each Pokemon Ranger game. And yes, there is an exploit around that, but remember, glitches don't count for the top 10. Manaphy wouldn't be that rare without the shiny exception. You have to admit, getting a shiny Manaphy legitimately through that process would be very, very impressive. And that's why I chose Manaphy for number 2. But guess what? There's a Pokemon even rarer than that. And the rarest Pokemon of all time is Spinda. It's a fucking Spinda. That's the rarest Pokemon of them all. After hearing all of that, it's a fucking Spinda. And this is why. It's not just an ordinary Spinda, because catching an ordinary Spinda is really easy to do. But think about it. Catching the same Spinda with the same pattern is astronomical. And if you didn't know, every Spinda from Generation 3 and onwards has a different floral pattern on them. So running into a Spinda with the exact same floral patterns you've seen before is like winning the lottery. The odds in running into a Spinda with the same floral pattern is 1 in 4 million. So let's say there's 20 million people playing Pokemon trying to find the same Spinda. Only 5 of them are going to find one. 5 out of 20 million. I'm sorry to be so anticlimactic on this number 1 spot, guys, but this is the rarest Pokemon in existence. And I'm not going to count this, but it's just a little bonus. But the chances in finding the same shiny Spinda, it's 1 in 288 quadrillion, 230 trillion, 376 billion, 200 million. Those are the chances. So if you ever want to go find the same floor pattern shiny Spinda, have fun doing that. So now you know. Those are the top 10 rarest Pokemon in my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is definitely the longest video I've ever made.